Now let me go back to travel because reading today's Irish Times and I see where Aer Lingus are to start selling tickets for transatlantic flights out of the UK. Aer Lingus plans to start selling tickets, direct flights between Britain and the United States from Friday. Let me go to Eoghan Corry, who joins me indeed on the line. Eoghan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Keith.
How are we? And Happy New Year to you and Happy Easter in advance.
Happy New Year, Happy Easter, and may it bring 2021 bring as many pleasant surprises for your listeners as 2020 brought unpleasant ones.
Absolutely. We look at this Aer Lingus first, and then we have some people stuck in Manchester as well, just can't get home as well. I mean, Aer Lingus, are they a little brave, or will it be a normal-ish summer for those flights that we're talking about?
Nobody knows. We are not really going to know until about Easter what the summer is like. There's going to be a bit of a scramble to save the summer, but all the airlines are planning on reduced capacity. How reduced depends on who you speak to. But one of the very interesting things that happened, Keith, in the run-up to Christmas was that both the Irish airlines, Ryanair and Aer Lingus, loaded very optimistic schedules in, most of the way back to the 2019 levels. When you talk to Ryanair, they're talking anything between 90 and 120 million passengers. That's a huge difference. Aer Lingus probably talking about 50% of 2019 levels, but they've put the schedules in. They're going to see how the consumer responds, and a couple of things are becoming clear. It's not going to be government regulations or indeed the airlines who decide when we fly again. It's going to be the consumer themselves, and there's going to be a lot of little bumps on the road to vaccination between now and the summer, all of those things which affect consumer confidence.
Absolutely, but I mean the situation is that I was just playing around on the laptop over the Christmas period, and I mean there's some
playing around, Keith. I love that.
There's some good value to be had.
Excellent value, really amazing. I mean, the Canary Island flights at the moment are a bit high, but you go to the end of January, getting down there for €20. It's incredibly. And news on the Canaries, by the way, later on today, the Spanish government will be updating their advice to passengers from Ireland. With our rate, our 14-day for 100k rate, which has gone up to 470 at the moment, we are going to lose our status for going in test-free. That won't come in until January the 11th. But if you're travelling to mainland Spain or the Canaries after January the 11th, it will be announced today that you'll need a PCR test 72 hours in advance.
To get in there. To safeguard their islands and to safeguard their country as well.
Well, we had a very low rate. We were the second best in Europe, and we are still, not bad. We're about fifth or sixth best. We're well below the European average even, and that'll go down a bit, I suspect, after that IT glitch that pushed up the figures for the last 2 days works its way through the system. But we are a little bit high for getting exemptions, which is where we were before. And I suspect the Spanish, not absolutely certain this will happen, I suspect they'll change the advice today. Just on your Manchester to direct to New York, it makes complete sense for Aer Lingus to move into an airport where Virgin Atlantic are exiting and have a big transatlantic business, and of course British Airways and Aer Lingus are both part of the same Spanish group, IAG. They will be looking to capture this share, and when you look at Manchester, they a little bit like Dublin. Their loads won't be as high as London, but they'll be high enough. And if you've got a reduced number of people wishing to fly transatlantic, it makes complete economic sense to bring the wonderful Airbus A321LR, which Aer Lingus has access to and has a lot of them on their way, some already and some on their way, and put that in Manchester and put it on the routes. The airline industry calls them the thinner routes where demand is not high. That means that some of our Aer Lingus aircraft have been reflagged as British aircraft, including, and this is only for anoraks like yourself and myself, Keith, the flagship St. Patrick is actually going to have a Union Jack or a G registration on its tail. But it does look like Aer Lingus are moving into Manchester purely to capture the market share that the Virgin Atlantic will be leaving behind. What does that mean for Ireland? They're still committed to Shannon. They're saying that this doesn't affect Shannon. They have the aircraft to serve Shannon. The problem is there going to be a market into Shannon with the uncertainty we're facing over the coming months? And that really is going to be where the Shannon debate will go. It's not, some people are putting this up as Shannon's aircraft moving to Manchester. It's not as simple as that. There is an element of that. But I notice an A330, which would have been on Dublin, is also being put onto those Manchester services.
Well, I mean, the only plus, I suppose, for the Irish side of it would be we've got clearance at both Dublin and Shannon. Have they clearance in Manchester?
No, absolutely not, and no likelihood of it soon.
Orlando or Boston or New York or otherwise for 5-6 hours while you're going through.
There's very few countries have it. Most of them are outside of Ireland. Abu Dhabi is the only one in Asia. Canada and some of the Caribbean countries have it. The countries that have been talking about getting it in, and there was a lot of hullabaloo. They were talking to 17 different airports a couple of years ago. That probably has gone way down the priority list now. Manchester was being mentioned, but Manchester is not going to be one of the direct clearance places. That's important for our transit traffic. Brexit is also going to throw another little change of circumstances into our transit traffic. It should be, and if we were talking a normal January when travel was the big issue and there was no COVID, that would be a big plus for Dublin and Shannon. Certainly for Dublin, with all their services across Europe, people that wouldn't be able to travel through London because of the extra visa requirements if they're non-European citizens will now be looking to Dublin as an alternative transfer, and Americans coming the other direction would be looking to Dublin as a transfer. So Brexit, could be good news for transfer traffic through Dublin when normality resumes, which is not going to be today or tomorrow.
As it has done for Shannon. Shannon have continued indeed to clear some of the BA ones, the executive jets indeed, straight through.
That's grown, by the way, Keith. Private jet travel is up. It's the only bit of aviation that's up, and you can see why. The wealthy people, the likes of yourself, Keith, prefer to travel on private jets rather than mix with the general public.
I like to look at them, so I do from me. I couldn't afford the carpet in them. Can I just ask you, with Thomas, who was coerced to go to Manchester and spend Christmas with his family, and he wants to get home to Loughrea, but unfortunately there's no rendition flights, or this he refers to them as rendition flights. What can he do in a situation like that?
Rendition is a good name. There is a Ryanair flight from Manchester coming through. The way to do that is through the Department of Foreign Affairs. But Thomas and everybody else in Ireland has the very obvious option of flying Manchester into Belfast International with EasyJet. And people all over England can fly into Belfast. There's about 22 flights a day arriving with no restrictions from Britain into Belfast. And EasyJet do almost all the flights into Belfast International. Aer Lingus do quite a few of them into Belfast City. That is the option of getting back. So obviously you have to subject to all the restrictions when you get back, the same as if you were on what he calls a rendition flight and the 14-day self-isolation. I'm not advising anyone to do anything illegal here, but absolutely follow the public health guidelines. That's what is required of all of us.
All right, Eoghan Corry, thank you so much for joining us again today on that. Your comments, please, to 539.
Always a pleasure, Keith.
What happens to